Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing another 3 best, 3 worst exercises, and today I'm going to be covering the back. Today's going to be a little bit different because the back is not just one muscle, obviously. It's made up of tons and tons of muscles, but I'm going to be focusing on just 3 of them, and that's going to be the traps, the lats, and the lower back. So it's not really going to be 3 best, 3 worst for each. The video would be pretty long. It's just going to be the best ones for the traps and maybe whatever I could think of because some of these muscles, they don't really I couldn't really find bad exercises really. I could find like maybe one or two, but they don't have a huge amount up to three. So that's why I'm kind of combining them because there's three muscles I'm going to cover. So three bad, whatever. So let's start it off with the traps. The traps and the rhomboids. These are your traps. They connect from your neck all the way to your glenohumeral joint right here. The big, they're not the muscle, the bone you feel of scapula and the your scapula and your clavicular head or clavicle connecting. That makes the joint right there. And it runs down and it runs kind of like in a diamond shape in your back. I would show you. I can't put my hands back there unfortunately. But anyways, the traps are mainly used to hold your that glenohumeral joint, your shoulder joint in place so it doesn't just pop out. It is able to keep it just stable there, and it also connects, your traps connect to your scapula, so when you retract your scapula, you're using your traps for that. So for the first one I have for the traps is one you probably already saw if you've trained or one you already do, so that's good. I don't think anybody doesn't do these for the traps, and it's just the shoulder shrugs. You grab dumbbells, barbells, whatever weight, and you just shrug it up. You hold it, or you don't hold it, or you power shrug, whatever. Any shrugs like that really work. As long as you're shrugging up, you're good. You want to do it on 100%. What you do is you shrug up and back, not just up and back. That's it. The one, what you don't want to do, I'm just going to get right into the one you don't want to do. I can only find one exercise really you're not supposed to do, or it's not really that you're not supposed to, but it's not good, and it's roll around shrugs. So that's where you bring up and you roll around, or you go this way. That does not do anything. Going up and back and rolling, I guess is better, but if you really just want to have good form, it's just up and back at the same time, not up, then roll. So that's really the only bad exercise. It's just not optimal exactly. There's no real bad exercise I could find with the traps, but the next thing we're going to talk about is for the middle traps instead of just the upper, and it's the reverse pec deck, but instead of using your shoulder, like I had said, where you retract and then you use your shoulder, you just want to protract your scapula. When you have them in your hands, you have the cables or whatever, and then retract, and that's what you do. You'll feel it really. You'll probably feel it more than you will in your shoulders because people will usually mess up when they're doing it with their shoulders and they use their back instead. So doing that exercise will be really easy, I believe. You can do it any way. You can do it with a pec deck machine. You can do it backwards. You can do it with cables, and you can pull the cables crisscross, or you can just lay down on a bench, grab some weight, and just go at it. The next one I'm going to talk about is one I actually don't see very often. Very, very good exercise for people that want to not put on mass fast, but it just works out a lot of muscles at the same time, and the traps happen to be one of them. That's going to be the farmer's walk. It really just tears up your traps, your shoulders, sometimes your triceps if you're really just tight, and then your entire forearm just gets absolutely demolished doing these. Just you grab the weight, or you either stand there or you just walk around. What I do is I grab weight, I walk around the gym, I walk back, absolutely destroys my entire arm. Really good because people that want to put on mass, it's usually because they have things like small wrists. So if you want to get big wrists, farmer's walk, but it also works out your traps really, really well. Already covered the bad exercise for the traps. So the next muscle we're going to get into is the lats. Now the lats are the wing-like. Maybe you don't have wings yet. Hopefully doing these 3 exercises I give you gives you them. But they're the wing-like muscle that goes from under your scapula, comes out, and connects to your lower back. In bro terms or in gym terms, there's 2 heads or whatever you want to call it, and it's because if you look at the muscles and you see how they flare up, there's the muscle fibers go in 2 different directions. The lower part goes sideways, and then the upper part goes upwards, kind of like this, and that gives it kind of makes it look like it has 2 different parts to the lat when In actual science terms, it doesn't. It's just one lat per side. There's no two things, but I didn't really do any research to determine whether or not doing certain exercises for the lower or higher parts of the lats does anything, but you can kind of combine them into the exercise I'm going to talk about. And the first two I'm going to talk about are the pull-ups and the lat pull-downs. Pull-downs, or I mean, sorry, pull-ups are, in my opinion, better than lat pull-downs because you use 100% of your entire lat. You use your biceps, you use like your core, you use just everything to get up. And when you do a lat pull down, you're able to isolate on lats if you do it correctly. But when you're first starting out, isolating on your lats is very difficult because you have to get that mind muscle connection. And it took me a really long time. It took me a lot of pull-ups because you have to force every muscle to do something. So if you're just getting into exercising and you start doing pull-ups and you only feel it in your biceps, for example, eventually your biceps will fatigue out and another muscle will have to start working, and it's going to be your lats. Whether they like it or not, they're going to have to work. And then you start to just slowly build up that mind muscle connection. Then you can go do lat pull downs and do them a lot better. Now what I was talking about is different variations for the pull-ups and lat pull-downs is something like a neutral grip. You can do that. It works your biceps a lot more, but people say that it works because you're closer in. The closer you are, your elbow to your body, the more you're going to be pulling back. It's going to build more width. And since the fibers of the lower lat run laterally instead of almost horizontally, it's going to kind of, when you pull back, it's going to, the way the muscle flexes is going to be in the way of those fibers. So it seems as though that doing neutral grip will grow your lower lats more than it will your higher lats. I recommend just doing your normal grip, which is about 1.5 shoulder width apart. Same with the pull-ups, 1.5 shoulder width apart. You do that, just a normal lat pull down or pull up. That'll build your lats with the width. Now, for thickness, I'm pretty sure you saw this one coming. Rows, any single row, cable rows, barbell rows, pendlay rows, doesn't matter. Machine rows, it does not matter at all. All rows will build the muscle on your back, and it's all personal preference. It's all your mobility. So you just kind of have to go and test with cable rows. I would suggest starting with cable rows, see how it feels. Make sure not to use your lower back too much. You can injure yourself really easy doing these. Then move your way to a machine. Then move your way to a barbell, and then you can do something like a pendlay row, which is a little bit more advanced. It's kind of like just a really, really fast and heavy row. I'm sure you can look into it, or I'll make a video explaining certain variations of exercises and such. But the only exercise I could really come up with that was bad for the lats was the lat pullovers. And some people might not like this because a little someone named Jeff Cavaliere, Athlete X, this is one of his favorite exercises. And I really don't know why. I've seen a lot of people do them. I myself have tried them. I just don't see what's good about them. Maybe to build mind muscle connection, but I don't see them as a real muscle builder. I think you would build way more muscle doing a pull up and a row than you ever would doing a lat pull down or pull over. It just doesn't make sense. And what a lat pull over is, for people that don't know, you're usually on an inclined bench or a flat bench, or you're using cables, and what you do is you have the weight over your head and you look like you're going to do a skull crusher, right? This is how you do a skull crusher. That's how you look. Instead, you keep your arms completely straight and you just bring it over, and you can feel that your lats flex, but you just can't overload like you can with a pull-up wearing a belt with weight on it, or a lat pull-down just being able to pull the little pin out and put it at a higher weight. So I don't, and it just seems a little dangerous with the shoulder being in such a weird position when it's up like that, and when you bring it over, you're bringing the weight over your head. It just seems a little dangerous and not really worth it to me. So yeah, that's not the worst, but the exercise I came up with that was bad for the lats. Now the next exercise we're going to be talking about is the lower back. And this one's a crazy topic in the fitness industry because the low back is very prone to injury at any age, really. I had an actual bad, I like talking about this one because I had low back pain, and I have a friend who has low back pain, and I was managed to help him. I helped myself, and the way I did it was deadlifts. That was the first exercise. it took me a while to figure out. I was scared to do them for a while because my lower back did hurt a lot. It was tense. I just needed to like, it felt like my spine was super compressed and I just needed to like grab it and just pull it, pop it, and it would be perfectly fine. And obviously that's not what happened, but what I did was I did deadlifts. I just strengthened my lower back a lot, and now I don't have any back pain really. You just got to do it correctly. You got to do it. You can't ego lift with it. You will hurt yourself. And there was recently a podcast with Joe Rogan and a strongman. Unfortunately, his name was Robert something, I believe. I can't remember his name, unfortunately. But he said the reward to risk ratio with the deadlift was not super high. Like the reward is good, but the risk is even greater, which is bad for any exercise. And a lot of people went and made videos about this. Unfortunately, I wasn't a YouTuber at the time, so I couldn't make my own video. But people like Jeff Cavalier came on and said that technically he was right, but if you just do it to the best of your abilities, 100% correct, and you have someone looking after you, that it's a great, great exercise, and I would completely agree with that. Start off with really low weight or no weight at all, just use a bar and just focus on doing it 100% correct. Just watch a lot of videos or get a coach or go talk to someone that's doing it at the gym and just kind of ask them for pointers or whatever. Normally, bar goes right over your shoelaces. You pin your shoulder blades back, you put them down, you lock everything, you suck in, pull up, boom, drop it. That's it. You don't want to overextend your back, obviously, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, the deadlift, just great exercise. You progress really fast on it. At least I did. Maxing out is really, really fun. You just have to do it smart. You cannot be stupid with this exercise, because if you are, you will get injured, and you will get injured really badly. But the next exercise I'm going to be talking about hits the lower back, and it seems like it's a really good exercise, but I can't really determine myself whether it's a good or bad exercise. And it's the good morning exercise. And for people that don't know what that is, it's kind of like you're getting in a squat and you bend down with the bar all the way to like almost parallel, and then you bring it back up. And this is kind of like a weighted back extension. I don't think you need to weigh yourself down doing a back extension. This exercise seems like it would be really good for working your entire back out, and I'm sure it is. I myself have never done it. It looks very sketchy, and having the low back pain that I used to have, I don't want to injure myself at all, so I just stick to my deadlifts. But this exercise, I would recommend watching a lot of videos on it, watching really good form. I feel like it's an exercise just like the deadlift. You have to have absolutely perfect form. You have to do it really light, work yourself up. I myself will probably never do it. It just seems really edgy. So for right now, I'm just going to put it on the not good side of exercises to do. And the next one is something I mentioned, back extension. Back extension also goes in good and bad categories. If you do it right, it's great. No one does it right. They overextend their back way too much, and they actually make their back pain even worse doing it. So what a back extension is there's a machine that has cushions on it, and it has places you lock your feet in, and basically you bend down all the way and then you bend up. What people do is, instead of just flexing their back when they get to lateral, they overextend thinking that flexes their back even more, when in reality it doesn't. It's just gonna cause a lot of muscle pain and a lot of joint pain for your back by impinging and all that fantastic stuff. So don't overextend on that exercise. Just keep it at lateral. I don't think you need any weight for it at all. Just bend down, come up, bend down, come up. And if you do need weight, maybe add a plate or whatever. And then eventually, if you do progress super far somehow, start looking into doing good mornings, I guess. But I'll probably do a future video explaining the good morning and back extensions and deadlifts a little bit more, because it's such a popular thing. It's such a popular thing to talk about. And also, the lower back doesn't have a lot of exercises, so figuring out what's good and bad is really important, because as you saw, the only good exercise I had to say about was the deadlift. So yeah, I'll probably do another video on that. That's all I really got. I'm still working on that how to lose fat video, so stay tuned for that one. And You know the drill. Follow, sub, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.